Chuck, whether you like it or not, we're live. What's up, everyone? Hopefully you can hear me. If you can, give a little bark in the chat. If you can for me, British Raven, good to see you. Guys, actually, there's a little bit going on. Where are we, Chuck, right now?
We are at Bel Air Sports Cards.
All right, so we're at Bel Air Sports Cards. And coincidentally, we're going to be opening some cards. We're going to be answering some questions. But above all, too, which is kind of nuts, James McCann's like opening cards and doing an event behind. So who would have thought that he's up here? But he is. And we're here. And we got, are these the ones we're opening first?
Yeah.
Okay. So for you guys to know,
didn't your dad play baseball?
he's one time.
Yeah.
Once upon a time.
We might be in some of those packs.
So, and you know what? Yes, it's done, Doc Chuck. It's about time. We're opening a bunch of these cards, finally. Are these the ones you've been hiding underneath for a while?
Yes.
So we're finally going through these old school cards, and while we're doing it, we'll talk a little bit about some questions you guys might have. So let me know of what's going on, and we can roll from there. Cool? So how do you want to start? You want to start with these?
Yeah, let's start with these.
And also, obviously,
Little Dumross.
I'm going to get my own pack. All right?
Dumross, 1990. Great year.
And it's actually featuring a Carl Yastrzemski puzzle for our baseball enthusiasts.
Let's put a puzzle together.
Is that actually how this works?
Nobody ever did the puzzles.
No, man. Let's see.
Piece of puzzle.
Piece of the puzzle. So these haven't been opened in 24 years?
You can see the tape on the box.
24 years. So, guys, in case you're wondering, we'll continue to open some cards. But I did have people that wanted to talk
Look at
about.
this guy with this shirt on.
Yeah, Chuck is very happy about all this. How's it going?
Marty,
Good to see you.
they say you're going to be here.
Well, we're live a little bit opening
You
some
know
cards.
about Tim and Emily, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Know too much about Tim and Emily over the times.
3 months.
I heard.
Yeah.
I heard.
Yeah, I just
Amazing.
spoke to Tim on the way here. How are
Amazing.
you doing? Your
Yeah, I don't want to. We can
This is
talk a
live.
little bit more.
This is live.
All right. So for you guys that want to know, also, we're going to go through these cards. But I know a lot of people have had questions about the news talking about with Corbin Burnes. What that
Rocco.
means.
Come on, man. I guess this is a little revenge for what I do to you when you're live.
Yeah, there it is. A lot of love, a lot of hate. But we'll talk all the questions. Kyle H., I got you about the next question. We'll talk about that and let you kind of know. But first off, I got one of the puzzle pieces for Carl Yastrzemski. It's kind of going down memory lane, you know?
Yeah.
That's the piece everyone wants to see, actually. So we'll rock with that. All right, who do you got?
There was definitely cards. I guess when you get older, there's definitely cards you always felt like you got the same card. You know what I mean? It was like those, like for me, it was Scott Erickson. I always felt like I pulled a Scott Erickson, and that was prior to him becoming an Oriole. So it was like, that was pretty cool to, I got a Terry Steinbeck.
Terry Steinbeck?
Yeah.
See, I got a few that people might know. Most might not, but here's the case here. We got Bud Black, manager of the Rockies. I got a Ken Griffey Sr., not junior, when he played for Cincinnati. And then we also got a little bit of, let's see what else we got working here.
John Olerud.
John Olerud, the helmet, the man, the myth.
Stud.
And Kirby Puckett, man, hell of a player. It's fun going down the memories of what players used to be, who they
The
were.
real Machado. Julio.
Julio Machado. I don't know. The one Machado out in San Diego is pretty damn good, but that's the original. That is the original
He
here.
played for Baltimore, I think.
Oh, yeah. Eric Davis. Steve Sachs.
Ooh. Lou Whitaker.
Lou Whitaker. So while we're doing this, Chuck, I'm going to continue on again. We're up here right now in the Adams Jeep of Maryland, which this shirt fits very well. It's comfortable. We're right up here. We're about 15 minutes from Adams Jeep of Maryland, but we're opening up some cards, having some time. Kyle, let's start with your question. Okay. Does the signing of Renee Pinto worry you about McCann coming back next year? And he's right behind. You know, we can ask him about it if he comes over. But in all seriousness, I don't think that move is going to affect or impact in any different way. I think when you look at how teams are built, you need to have depth. I actually played against Pinto in 2021 when he was with the Rays in AAA, and he lit us up. He had a ball on the rooftop, Chuck, in left field. I think we lost by 15 a night, it felt like. The Durham Bulls were like the Monstars when we played them in 2021. But for him, it's just more of a depth piece. It's not going to change also with Sam Basayo. It's not going to change any of that. They're going to continue on. I personally have a feeling that the guy back there will be back, but we will see what happens. I do think there's more that factors in, Chuck. We've talked about this before up at the spot. There's more that meets the eye than just having a player with stats. There's so much that impacts a roster beyond just going out there and doing your job on a nightly basis, which does matter. So that's what we got. So we're one card through. Any of these, we moving on to the next
we're
pair?
moving on. I want to be wowed. And it's hard to be wowed in a 1990 pack, but
yeah. The 1990 pack, you know what? Win instantly over 1 million prizes.
That is.
The hell is that?
That is the puzzle.
That's
off the bat.
That's the knob right
That's
there,
the
right?
knob.
That's the knob right there.
Oh,
Who's that puzzle?
oh,
Carl Yastrzemski.
Yes.
Carl Yastrzemski.
oh.
Kirby. You know, Kirby Puckett was one of those guys that, for all the baseball fans out there, it's one of those players
That's a saver.
that the one you want to tell more stories about. You know, is one of those guys where you feel like they're invincible. Unfortunately, may he rest in peace. But that was one of those guys. So same with that
This
guy.
is it. I mean,
But Kirby was one of those players that you wanted to watch. You know, one of the legends of the game through and throughout. And that was a guy where I don't remember as much of him when I was growing up. Because the stories after, my dad would always say, Chuck, man, dude, like if you could watch Kirby play the game, you know, and you got to see him play the game. Hell, you're going to keep that card right there.
I did set it aside. The Ken Griffey thing, I saw the video of where he how the Yankees treated him, and he was basically saying that if they were the last team ever, he would have never signed with them because of the little when he was throwing the ball with his dad, and they told him to get off the field, and that kind of hits home. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I mean,
not that you don't want the Yankees to struggle at all, but.
Well, I feel like everyone in Maryland, most people in Maryland, Chuck, don't want to see the Yankees do well. I think that's a fair assessment. But it feels good when Ken Griffey stands on business saying, hey, I didn't like how you treated me or my family. I'm not going to play for you. Ken did his thing. Honestly, that was a guy I wish he never got hurt. I think he would have broken the home run record, to be honest. Here's my piece of the puzzle. Just a good old Carl. I don't know if we try to put this thing together, to be honest.
We might have to.
Yeah.
We'll probably just be missing. Oh, Greg Vaughn, rookie.
Hey, this is a guy we might have on in the future here. We're supposed to get him on for the postseason, but just a little bit harder here. He's busy with the World Series. That's John Smoltz. So we are working on getting him on. If that's okay. You like Ken Griffey Jr.? It'd be good to talk to him at some point.
I would love that.
Okay, we can work on that as well.
And Smoltz was a part of pitching staff that you don't see anymore, and they talk about the Jim Palmer days of the Orioles and those guys that were just like 1, 2, 3 and good luck. And the Braves, that was like those guys were who are you going to face? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that staff back then was nasty. It was pick your poison.
Yeah.
And it's guys that knew how to pitch, knew what they wanted to do. Things have kind of changed over time, but those staffs were absolutely incredible. Trying to go through some lists here. Who you got here? You got another one?
Yeah,
We got different.
Getting the boys back together.
Look at that. Look at that.
This guy's a pretty good commentator. I enjoy listening to him call a game.
How about this one?
Oh.
Fernando Valenzuela. Fernando Valenzuela
Special
with the
this year.
Dodgers. Absolutely. It is cool to be able to reminisce and look back at what guys have had. So as we keep going through these, I promise you guys get to answer some of your questions. So why don't we continue on with these conversations? So one of the other ones going up here, curious your thoughts on Willie Adames. Okay, so saw a report he's open to a position change from shortstop for a contending team. Look, he's a guy that's a talented player. I thought it was a really good move, and you saw his talents being showcased when he left Tampa Bay. However, I don't know where that fits in Baltimore because, Chuck, let's go through this real quickly. We got Jordan Westburg.
Yeah.
He's going to play. Gunnar, you're going to let him play at shortstop. He's the shortstop of the future. He's going to figure it out. He's going to figure it out. I'm telling you that right now. You're going to see what's going to position at first, but Ryan O'Hearn's coming back.
Yes, he is.
You could have Adley Rutschman having more bats there. Do they go and sign a first baseman? And then the second base spot right now is going to be Jackson Holiday, or Jorge Mateo is back in the fold, right? So I just don't see where Adames fits with that. Does that make sense? Do I
Yes.
sound crazy?
Not at all.
Well, I mean, I am crazy,
You
but
definitely
that's
are crazy.
but not for that reason. So I don't think that fit's going to be in Baltimore, and if they're going to spend somewhere, I think it's going to be elsewhere. So that's just personally what I think is going to happen here. Keep them going on.
So do you think that the struggles that they had in the second half are going to be dealt
Oh,
with?
it's James.
Hey,
What's up,
this
man?
guy.
How you doing?
Great, yourself?
I'm good. You looking good.
Yeah.
Sorry, just doing a little card opening and whatnot.
Card opener?
Yeah.
You got anybody-
Save the game.
Yeah, we're working on it. We're working on some other guys. Got some old.
You got some old time.
Oh,
Yeah.
Trying to find his dad.
No, we're not.
Someone got your dad over here.
I heard about that.
Special card.
Also, I didn't know you were friends with Gavin Sheets. I'm sorry, man. That's one of my best friends growing up. He is brutal. No, he's a good kid. How long are you in town for?
Just a couple days.
And you're going, and you're out. Seem good. You look good.
We're good. Got the boys here. We're just card opening stuff. So
Awesome. How long are you here for? The rest until. Are you leaving in?
we're
Wrap it
check
up?
out the Ravens game. Oh, here?
Yeah.
We're here for a few minutes.
Oh, you're coming tomorrow to the game? Hey, I'll be there tomorrow. Are you? Well, I'll try to figure out a contact for it, but we'll be up if you guys want to stop by. So I'll figure out how to do that real quick.
No, we're my boys are in Titan. We live in Nashville. We're Titans
Yeah.
fans. Since Derrick Henry left, they're not Titans fans.
You couldn't be a fan tomorrow.
They're Ravens fans.
Well, it's perfect then.
Of course.
He's a beast.
He's special.
Yeah. I always say, look, I was gonna say last time I saw it, well, you're actually you must be lying.
I'm just going to say seated.
Yeah, it's hard to Dean the other day. How are you feeling overall? You good? Yeah. See, I ever since you got hit in the face, I told Dean he can't be out for too long. He got drilled in the arm. So
Yeah, that's tough to come back from.
yeah. But you're just here tomorrow. Just say I don't have my staying busy right now. Are you leaving soon?
No, I will be. You finished doing your stuff.
Okay.
We're about to open
We're gonna come over, rip some cards open with you guys, you and these
Oh,
guys.
hell yeah. Okay. All right, great. Man, you look way better than I do. Okay.
Now, this is my man crush.
Yeah.
This is my man crush right here. I didn't
Yeah.
say nothing.
Yeah.
You know me. I talk all the time. That guy smelled good, too.
Well, the thing is, for me, like I had someone say, "Hey, you know, you're," they go like, "Hey, you look like your dad, but not as good looking." I'm like, "Well, I don't know if that's a compliment because he doesn't have any hair, and if I have no hair, I'm kind of screwed." So,
Well, now, I think you got a beautiful face, and I think that
oh, thanks. Yeah, so we'll get back to opening up some
that was
things.
awesome.
You never know what's going to happen here, by
Probably
the way.
weren't talking any junk.
Or you can talk shit. That's fine. I already told him he's the toughest son of a gun.
But
Playing.
well, going back to
Yeah, what
like,
was your point initially? What did you want?
well, I forget now because that just threw me off. But going back to signing catchers, do you
Yep.
think that they're going to sign, people to kind of take a little of the pressure off, like during the early year, preseason, preseason games? Do you have another guy? Because Adley kind of fell off a little bit.
Yeah, I think
Second half.
there's a lot more to that than just long season, being banged up, the mental struggle, the guy everyone's expecting him to be the guy from the beginning, which I do think that people underestimate. They underestimate Chuck how when you're told you're so good, hey Chuck, you're the best guy ever. Adams Jeep and Aberdeen, they're the best. You guys are the best ever, right? But when everyone tells you that over and over again, you do want to believe it. But two, once you go through struggles, how do you get out of it when you feel like you've never had that type of part of it? And for Adley and for Gunnar, didn't really have those struggles. Jackson Holiday, another guy, hasn't had those struggles. So you got to go through that. I think that was a mental toll there. And the other thing, the underlying thing for every player, when does Adley get extended? What's that deal there? And as a player, then you're thinking, I'm putting more stress on myself. But there's a reason why guys like James matter so much, because he knows how to call the game. So to your point, could they bring somebody else in? Yes. But I do think that they have the guys in-house with James, with Adley, and with Sam when he's ready to go ahead and do that. So, I mean, that position right there.
I was very
It's tough.
I was very impressed with the end of the season, talks that, everybody was saying about what went wrong, and I appreciated the honesty that they had with maybe I dropped the ball, maybe we didn't look at hitting as much as we should have. Maybe I thought we needed pitching, and I thought these guys were going to get out of it in the second half, and they didn't, so that's on me. So that's nice to hear that, and it's almost like knowing that you can spend money. How are you going to spend it? Like before, there was a different dynamic because maybe their hands were tied a little bit, but now, I think Dave's going, here's the checkbook, just spend it wisely, son. So,
well, that's the thing is there's a lot of pieces that go into make pieces to the puzzle. Man, was that actually like pun intended right there?
That was perfect.
But when you think about it in general, just because you have a lot of money or money that you're going to have to expand on a roster doesn't mean you're just going to say, hey, you get a big contract. You got a big contract. You got to figure out the value. And like those guys and people, all this, you guys, the chat, everyone knows, I got a bond with those guys. I want to see them get paid. They deserve it. They earn it. It's so hard. But at the end of the day, too, from a business standpoint, how are you basing that out, right? So for a guy like Adley, hitting catcher, guy that when he's on, one of the top catchers, hitting catchers in the game.
Yeah.
How long does he catch for? Is it 5 years? Is it 6 years? Is it 3 years? Right. So that's the value of how you got to look at how things are going to be. And, but at the end of the day, that's the business. And the business of baseball is not always fun. I'll tell you that right now.
No, only one team wins.
No, it's not. Well,
I was kind of happy that the Yankees went all the way to the World Series and then lost. Because imagine how the last game where you think it's 5-0, they're going to win. This is no. And then if you went to the bathroom and came back, you're like, what just happened? That was nice to see all the fans kind of, go.
Chuck, tell me you don't like the Yankees without telling me you don't like the Yankees, man.
Sorry.
I got another one of the Smolty ones, by the way. Or no, this isn't Smolty. This is Dim DeShays. My bad. And I thought I got excited because I think I do have a Smolty in here again.
Pedro Guerrero. There's somewhere you just.
Oh, there he is. Oh, Pedro, fumble. There it is. There's a lot of these in
Sid
here.
Fernandez sounds like a GM.
Yeah.
But he doesn't, and he looks like one too. That's what baseball players looked like back in the day. A little frumpy. You know what I mean?
Still
like a
still
little
look like
Bartolo
right
Colon.
now. Yeah. Good old Bernie Williams, man. Talk about it. A Yankee legend right there.
This is what it's going to look like when we put the puzzle together. That's phenomenal.
Yeah. And that fifth inning, though, for the Yanks, this is the one thing I'll argue. For Yankees fans, that's a pain when you thought and you're trying to make all these comments.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing, at least for Baltimore fans, right, is you want to see for the Ravens and for the Orioles, you want to see your team get there, get back. It's been 41 years, Chuck. I haven't been alive that long yet to see the Orioles have success
I definitely have.
in the World Series. And it's funny, if you ask Calvin about it, if you had told him that after a second year, he would only go to the postseason, I believe, 2 or 3 more times in 19 years, he'd go, well, that's crazy. That's what happened. 96 and 97, they're on the doorstep in 97. It doesn't happen, right? So can't take it for granted. That's just the way it is.
Some really good teams, too.
Yeah.
The later on, the Luis Matos years and where you're like,
Matos,
guys?
Man. Hey, I'll tell you what, Melvin Mora did something with him recently, and Melvin hadn't seen him since I was a kid. Talk about a guy that's grinding through some tough years. He was that guy during those tough years.
Brought over from the Mets.
Yeah.
I was proud of that guy.
And you know what? I'm proud of you, Chuck. And we're up here, up in Bel Air, checking out some cards, having some fun. Adams Jeep in Maryland here. So we thought we'd answer some baseball questions, step away from football for a moment, and get back into it.
I love seeing everybody with their Orioles jerseys on coming here to see James. I walked in, it was like a breath of fresh air. And then when McCann walked over, it was a real breath of fresh air.
Oh, yeah.
My man's smiling great.
Oh, so, for sure.
In this pack, I got 2 guys that I think one word comes to mind. Home run. Could be 2 words.
Depending on how you want to describe it, Chuck.
Or,
or
does
other
this guy
words.
look like he was going to be the home run king in that picture? No.
Well, he was going to be one of the best baseball players, regardless of of his situation. But it definitely did enhance it.
That guy was fun to watch in Baltimore for a second. How he would run out like that. The season was kind of career was a little, but it was good because I have an Orioles jersey with Sosa. and I cut off the S and the A and made it a O's jersey.
Yeah.
That's old school, pre-Markakis. Pass that down to the boys. Shout out Aiden and Ethan.
There you go. Shout out. See if going down the list here for a moment. I said, could the Orioles trade for a pitcher like Sonny Gray being one of the most realistic options? I'll say it's going to be hard to say of what the matches could be. But if we're going to say for trading, if we're looking at a pattern for Baltimore, it's going to be what do you have to offer? But then who could be under team control? If you make a move, it's team control. That's why you made a move last year to get why am I blanking at the deadline? Trevor Rogers, the guy that's under team control for another year. But no, but that's the reality, right? So then when you're looking at free agency now, you're sitting there and going, all right, this is going to cost a lot, and you're seeing the reports. And for everyone that's probably wondering, Chuck, you're saying, well, what's Corbin going to get? What's that number? I don't know what it's going to be, but I'll tell you what, a lot of teams are going to pay for a high number. Why? Pitching's at a premium. I think what happened last year of some of the guys not getting those bigger contracts will not be the case this year. Like, I think Blake Snell will get a bigger contract. I think Max Fried's not going to be cheap.
Yeah.
But neither is Corbin. And it's because of his track record, and he stayed healthy. He's given consistency.
But he also just, has a family, and does staying on the West Coast mean something to him. Can he get paid and be close to his family? Because that's pretty important.
Yeah.
Although you're a professional, you have a personal life.
You do.
And
that, it's crazy, right? Players have a personal life, is what you're saying.
And I
Chuck?
think people don't see the bigger picture of what a full season can do to, a guy. And when you're looking at him and you see him up to bat every, 3-4 times a night, you don't know what's going on at home. You don't know, if somebody's sick or, so kudos to those guys that just, grind out for us as fans. And, I appreciate it.
And I think that's the point too. And for everyone that's tuned in and watched me, you guys know, there's always more to the game than just a result. And when you play 162, man, if you're one of the best teams in all of baseball, winning 100 is really, really impressive. And the reality is it's not going to happen a lot. So even this past year, everyone is expecting the team to go and win 100+ games. I can't tell you how hard it is to do that. It's not simple. And if you look at the teams that have won the World Series, minus the Dodgers didn't win 100 games this year. Nobody did. Last year, the Rangers won 89 games. Or 90 games. 90 games, sorry. They won the World Series. The Diamondbacks had 84 wins and went to the World Series, right? So it's context in this situation.
And you got to get hot at the right time. I mean, it's got to click.
I talked to Buck Showalter about that, Chuck. You just got to hope that your guys are healthy and things are, like you said, things are clicking at the right time. It just takes one hit, one situation to keep on moving and things being good. How we doing? Good? Hanging in? Let's see what else is going to miss. There was a report, Chuck, about, do you want to keep opening some of these? You want to hold on to these for another day? What do you keep opening?
Let's open stuff.
What do you want me to open, Chuck?
Whatever. We got some tops. Let them decide. We got some tops.
You tell me.
We got some Fleer, 90 Fleer. Let's open up some 90.
You want to go 90 Fleer?
Let's go Fleer.
Let's go Fleer. I don't even know what that means. Fleer. Is that the name of the company?
Yeah.
Hey, this was one, though, that people were bringing up. Let's go to. I just had it here. Don't you love when you lose your train of thought?
It happens.
It was about David Ross. There was a report out there that David Ross would be a potential bench coach option for the Orioles.
Well, what do you think the decision to part ways with Freddie? What do you think? Is that just a culture thing? Is that we need, to make a little move? What do you think about that move? Good question.
It's a few things. So one of the things being that if we're going to sit here and go, well, do you feel that Freddie would have an option elsewhere? That's one, a better option. Number two, are you trying to protect and promote someone from within? But it's hard to kind of think that, because you would think, unless it's Manzolino, that coach's third would take over that position, or you promote a guy from the minors. But I think that's too much of a risk to put someone into a bench coach position that hasn't been a bench coach on a team where it's just the reality of it. But for Brandon Hyde, where if they don't have success, it's going to be even more pressure on him. I think you're trying to find another fit. So David Ross is a guy that meshes well with the players, been around. it's an interesting fit. But I did love Freddie. I loved his
connection,
fire.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I can see that. And I
I
don't think,
do, and that's a big thing, big reason why I would say so. And this is the reality too: is the moves that they're trying to make here moving forward. They've already made a clear house, and this is the business side. This is not what I want. This is just the reality. If the O's don't play well next year, there's probably going to be more changes, and it'll probably start at the top and with the guy that is managing the team. That's just how that's the way the cookie crumbles. I don't always agree with that. If people want to go back and look at the year the Orioles lost 21 games in a row, Chuck.
yes.
My grandfather was the manager for the first 6. 0-6, and they fired him because they blamed him for the team's failures. And then all of a sudden, they lost 15 more in a row with Frank Robinson.
Yes, they did.
So it's just an example. It's a
That
context
was,
of
that
it.
was my era.
That was your era.
Yes, that's kind
Is
of.
it era?
Era.
Ooh,
That's
Delino. Hey, Delino DeShields and Jason Grimsley.
First,
How about that?
first card.
I got Boddicker.
And Red Sox. I mean, is not
That doesn't
sacred.
That doesn't seem right.
He was already done.
Got a Randy Milligan jersey. Played for the Orioles for just a little bit of time. Oh, played in Lynchburg though. Hey now, down in the minors there.
Who was your favorite player to watch growing up? Like, who did you? You know, I know you had a different view, but who was the guy you went, man? I want to be just like that. Obviously your dad, but like someone that their work ethic, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm. I'll say this: on the Orioles themselves, the guys treated me very well. So like Mike Bordick was a guy that it's funny I do work with him now,
yes.
but I was a kid then. BJ Surhoff, Brady Anderson, Mike Musina, Moose was great. I did love Ken Griffey Jr. as a kid. I mean, how can you not?
Yeah.
Tell you what, Backyard Baseball came out, the kids' computer game, and my dad was on the cover of the last one that they made, or an 01, sorry. And he was just, I love him. Was not a good player in that game. Like, if I'm picking 1 to 9, he might be the 9th pick for the team. Ken Griffey Jr. was that guy, but he was the make every play.
Hat backwards all the time.
Hat backward. Cool. I did love. I mean, it's a Yankee. I love Jeter in the big moments. It's like, how does this dude just keep doing it? He was so fun to watch. We had a connection with A-Rod growing up before he went to New York.
Yeah.
So
when he was pushing on your dad to go to third, and dad was like, I ain't having that.
Yeah, he didn't like that very much. He did not.
You could just tell.
Yeah. Oh, no, British Raven Backyard Baseball is back. I have it on the laptop here. If I could pull it up during the live stream, I would play it. The original. Pablo Sanchez, greatest video game character of all time. It's not even in question. It's just what it is.
He's no Bo Jackson and Tecmo Bowl. That was the guy.
Yeah. And also, to finish the bench coach question, and Zach Lowther, good to see you, man. Friend of the show, friend of the program. Talked to Zach for too long today to try to help me make, who wants to help out here, Chuck.
Okay.
With people helping people. But Buck Britton is a guy that the players love. He was my manager in the minors. He lit a fire under me a few times. Sometimes made me mad, but he's a guy that always had your back, that always cared. And I do think he's going to be in the big leagues as a coach at some point.
I could see that.
But I'm seeing what the timing's going to be. Could be this year, could be in the future. But again, looking at what you need, there's some other needs that need to be addressed. So
do you think they moved the wall at all? I know they're talking about the wall being shifted a little bit.
You know what? I can't confirm, but can't deny that the Baltimore might be a little bit different upcoming.
I mean, if you're a pitcher, that's a beautiful thing to have a wall that's 2 miles back.
I'll tell you what, though, because the hitter has talked to Mountie about this for a while. And Mounty's got some pop, and I joked. I'm like, dude, I've seen you hit a ball 480. He goes, yeah, just because I can doesn't mean I want to every time. And I hit a ball well. It'd be nice if it went out. I'm like, well, yeah, you're not alone with that. Also, Joe Orsulak, by the way, old school for those that are looking back at it.
Maybe that wall's there so small ball can kind of come into play.
Well, so the initial part of this. Oh goodness!
How do you not love Ricky Henderson?
Why is this? Who put this in here? Fleer? What are we doing?
Let's
doing?
go.
No, what do you mean, let's go?
Let's go.
Block out the name.
Can you forge your dad's signature? I'm sure you
I
can
probably
from school.
can, yeah. Well, I didn't do it for that reason, though. Apparently, you know what? He did well.
Can you get that signed for me? You got a guy. You got a guy.
You ain't getting anything signed, Chuck.
All right. I already got it.
You ain't getting
already
anything
got it.
signed. Just kidding. You can have it.
I'm from a time when the Colts left and then there was no football. And I'm sure a lot of you, about my age, that you were either a Redskins fan or you didn't watch football, and all you had were the Orioles until the Ravens showed back up. So,
yeah. And that's why people right now, the excitement of it. So when people do talk to me about this and they get mad, Chuck, a lot of people got mad at me last year when the team wasn't playing well and they want me to say everything that's going wrong. It's like, well, the obvious thing is things haven't been going as well. But if we want to look at the history of the Baltimore Orioles, so 1983 was a good time, right? So haven't been to a World Series since then. Chuck, the Orioles have gone to the playoffs 7 times in 41 years. 7 times, and twice now in back-to-back years. The first time they had done that in 27 years. So I don't know. I appreciate the little things. It's hard to win, super hard to win, and sometimes other teams make it seem so damn easy when it's not. So it was a good thing to point out there. By the way, saw a couple. Oh, hey, how we doing? You're leaving?
Yeah, good seeing you. We'll catch up another time.
Yes,
See you
I'll be
at
back
10.
up. Yeah,
See you at 10.
Yeah, it'd be
you should
great.
come up and visit us here.
yeah, I'd love to.
This is my game.
Hey, well, this is great. It's an easy thing. Just got to tell Chuck to talk to me.
Yeah, Chuck.
He gets scared.
Chuck said he's giving all of the employees here free Jeeps.
It's free
free
Jeeps.
Jeeps on Sundays.
Really? Free Jeeps on Sundays?
Yep. Meet me there.
Okay. Is that
Wait, who's that guy?
Jay Tibbs? Jay Tibbs.
Definitely.
Baby.
A lot of minor league information on the back of this.
A lot. All right, let's look at God, there are so many of these cards. We might have to
That's a ton of cards.
we might have to do this multiple times here, Chuck.
I
don't know.
know. I
don't think we're gonna go through 100 cards over here.
believe it or not, I was punished a lot as a kid. So
Well, I wonder why.
So,
What did you do?
what didn't I do?
Okay,
I got
fair
caught.
enough.
That's what I did. I got caught. But I don't know if anybody did this, but I would wallpaper my wall with cards with some scotch tape, and it was like make a little collage. I had a lot of time in my room to think about what I did wrong, and
And you should.
I definitely should. Oh, this is just good old Orioles.
Orioles baseball, man. I'll tell you what. Let me tell you. I got a Don Mattingly. Was one of the guys, honestly, one of the best players, one of the best gloves, and who played the position at first. Really good player, man.
How
really,
do you feel
really
about
good.
his coaching abilities?
I like Don. I like Don as a manager. I think that, I think everyone's perception is that to be a good manager, you just got to win the World Series and be that good, right? But there's a lot of great managers that never go to win a World Series. All have their flaws. But I like him. I do. I don't know if he's going to get a lot more opportunities in the future, but we'll see what happens.
But I think you have to respect the person you're playing for, because in those dog days of summer, if you are losing and you have some troubles or whatever's happening in your baseball life or personal life, the guy who's at the helm keeps it all together, and you got to want to get to the park for him, I would think, and you have to want to impress him. And if you have no respect for the guy, I guess if you're an owner looking at your team and you see that everybody's on board with what the coach is doing, you feel good about it, whether win or lose. You want to.
There's a reason why Aaron Boone's been around for so long, and people were like, "Get him out of here." The players like him. You want to have a guy that you feel can mesh with that. And for them this year, they got to the World Series. They had a good run, and the Dodgers did the little things better than they did, and it was exposed in the final game. That was one example right there.
If you look at the Dodgers roster, a lot of free agents brought in, not a ton of homegrown. One, free agent, obviously a lot of trades.
Yeah.
And they put a team on the field that made it to the end. with that said, Kershaw was always a guy who got there.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't want to say choked or, didn't have his best stuff or, tired out. But, on that stage, he didn't really perform a lot of the times. I got a buddy who's a real big Dodgers fan. Congratulations. I'm glad they won. But, when you look at, people say Flaherty, he was from when he played for Baltimore, blah, blah, blah. He was in a position, they handed him the ball, and that's just that alone says, hey, here, go get us a win. And he started off pretty rocky. They bring him into the second inning, not what they wanted, but
woof, we're getting rid of that one too. No, we'll keep it for Tony. We'll get rid of it for Cal. But the reality is the postseason is just a different beast where all you can hope is that you get opportunities and you can cash them in. And then usually the team that wins the World Series are the team that cashes in the most opportunities. Who makes less mistakes? Who makes the big play or hit or situation? You go through in that World Series, the Yankees are one pitch, one out away from winning it. Freddie Freeman hits the home run. That fifth inning in Game 5 with the Yanks, Judge catches it. That could be one thing. Volpe making the play, throwing to the third. That's another. And if Garrett Cole covers and gets over, then they're out of the inning. That's 3 chances that they could have been out of the inning, right? But then you give a team that has confidence a chance, and then on top of it, Freddie Freeman makes a big hit. Teoscar Hernandez, another big hit. So you can't. And then in the previous series, it was Kike Hernandez. That's not a star for them, but he was a star in the moment when they needed him. So your guys have to continue to battle here.
And then if you watch, how that series kind of unfolded, and they're down 3. You're at Yankee Stadium, and then to see Aaron Judge drop that ball. If you watch closely, he was looking. He wasn't even he took his eyes off that in that moment. Wow! And a guy who basically without him, you might be there. Questionable that, and he's got to live with that all off season. That maybe if I catch that ball, it's a different. We get to Game 6.
I really thought if the Yankees won Game 5, it was going to go 7. I really felt it. It just felt like that they were figuring it out, but they didn't. Dodgers closed it out, and Walker Buehler. How about a guy that had his struggles coming back from Tommy John, and then the playoffs in the biggest moments he was lights out. So. Another example, and new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Our proud sponsor, Adams Jeep of Maryland, up in Aberdeen with Chuck. We're opening cards up here in Bel Air. It's a fun time. We're having a good time. James McCann's Stop Traffic was doing something here as well. And there it is. So, yeah. Easy, Chuck. Easy over there. I know.
I have special people in my life, and you're one of them.
I tried to put some cologne on for you, too. I tried.
I don't want Rocco to get jealous.
Yeah, that's a hard thing. Rocco gets very jealous. You can't really help with that one.
He does look up to you.
Well, literally, figuratively, and literally, metaphorically, maybe as well.
Sorry, Rock.
No, Rock, you deserve it. I saw something about the percentage of Corbin Burnes being re-signed.
36. That would be mine. 36%.
I think they're going to be in the discussion, but I'm not going to hold my breath that he's going to make it back. I think they're going to be aggressive, but I don't know how aggressive. Because, again, you're trying to construct the rest of your team here. But I do think that there's 2 or 3 other options that they're going to look at that they have their eyes at in the pitching department. Because right now, going into next year, you're going to have Eflin, Dean. Why am I blanking on it? Eflin, Dean.
Rogers,
Povich, and Grayson. Right now, unless I'm missing one more.
Now, as Dave, I call him, our great new owner, as he has a checkbook and he's like, oh man, there's all these checks. I haven't even, I got a couple missing, but I have a ton of checks here. And then, he was very enthusiastic all year in the crowd, just like super excited to be an owner, a fan. That was awesome to see. Every 5th day, that dude went out and just put it together. Like, how do you not write the check for that guy? And then I hear on the radio and people's opinions that I'm scared of 6 years. I'm scared of 5 years. You're not paying for it. You're a fan. I'm not scared. Sign him for 10. We're still paying Chris Davis. And I don't care what anybody says. If you didn't want to sign him back then, you're lying because everybody was like, sign him, sign him, sign him. Who knew what was going to happen after that?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing right now is when you're looking at guys, it's just what do you want to pay, and how do you what's your plan for the guys that you want to keep that are already here? And you can look at how teams are, spending. Outside the Dodgers, they won this year, and I know people are saying you got to be in the top 10 payrolls, and I think guys need to get paid, get their bag, get paid. But there is more to it still because, I keep in mind different change in ownership. You're trying to figure out what the alignments are, what's the business plan look like, to then be able to then put these contracts in place where, hey, maybe we play guys 5 to 10 years down the road, and then you also figure about it. And it's no secret here, Chuck. I think Gunnar Henderson's going to get a lot of money when the time comes.
And
how do you prepare that?
He deserves
right. So that's the plan.
But does he feel pressure from Bobby Witt?
Well, yeah, I'll tell you what, he's not going to get pressure because of who his agent is going to say, you know what, we're going to wait this one out. We're not taking a discount.
You kind of knew that.
That's the reality of it. Hey, and Greg Olson, man, looking good, Greg. I saw something about Mountie. I love Mountie.
And Calvin Klein cologne. I don't know.
It's not. It's Aventus by Creed is the.
I love that band.
Yeah. Oh, Creed is a great band. I'll tell you what, it's a big reason why the Rangers won the World Series. This
bag sucked.
Hearing buzz about Mountie, I think that there's just always going to be buzz around Mountie no matter what. I could see things going a different way, but I told people before he was one of the best pure hitters that I saw coming through the organization. He knows how to do a lot of good things well. The biggest thing for him is to be able to stay healthy physically. And I hate that he has to deal with the vertigo bouts that he's had, and that really directly impact him. But when he's hot, he can be as hot as anybody.
Okay.
And he plays great defense at first base. I would personally love to see him in Baltimore for a long period of time. But business-wise, where do you piece things together? That's going to be a discussion. And Jose Canseco, 10-year anniversary. Hey, how you doing?
The older I get, the more I like that guy. Back when I was younger, I didn't really like him. Now I'm he's like the steroid Pete Rose. You know what I mean? Kind of like.
Hey, and BJ, when he was a catcher with the Brewers, where he started off.
Great order.
BJ Surhoff. We got so many. I don't think we're going to get through all these.
That's just.
But would you want to get through some of those? What do we do?
It's so many cards. It's so many cards. And stacks over there. You know who Mountcastle reminds me of when he's hot? Luke Scott. Remember when Luke would get hot and he would just
home run every single time?
Yeah, and then
over and over.
Yeah, there'd be like 2 weeks he wouldn't hit anything, and then he hit a home run, and next thing you know, he's putting maybe 10 or 12, in a 7-8 game period over the wall.
I had a story I saw someone was talking about the colognes now all of a second. Maybe I should tell this story with Old Spice. I try to stay away from Old Spice now. I had a bad experience in the minors with Old Spice. I didn't know it was that. It got quiet in here all of a sudden, Chuck.
Yeah.
You're looking a little red though, buddy.
I know, because these guys are behind me opening up cards. I think they're McCann's boys.
Are you blushing though?
Yeah, I sit next to you, so it's.
Do I make you nervous?
No,
Well,
I'm just.
You're just red.
That's what I do.
Hey, you're a good kid.
Don't chucking me.
Hey, and that's actually Rick Johns, Chris Berman, who we had on Monday. Chris Berman had some stories about the name and the playing off the name. So for those that don't know, that interview is just out now with Chris Berman. Also talks about where the inspiration came for the whoops and all of that in between. And he used to be a baseball guy. Is that the one do you want to go with now?
Let's do this.
You want to do this one? Because we still have like 40 of those in there. I don't know if we need to do 40.
Slice it open. You got the box cutter.
Do you trust me with the box cutter?
Yeah. One autograph in every box.
Is there?
Yeah. That's what it says.
Oh.
That was close.
You know what? I didn't do it well. I'll be honest.
Well, I mean, you don't save the box, so.
Yeah, I will say, Steve, I used to do this. I used to put some Old Spice on until I got it ate away at the skin of my armpit. I swear.
I don't like that stuff either. It would burn me.
No, I thought they thought I had a bacteria or a fungus. They thought I had an infection,
That's it.
and it turned out that it just burnt my arm.
Now I'm your infection.
Yeah, now you are.
Chuck Spice.
Chuck. All right, Chuck Spice. Here you go.
Okay.
You can open that one for us.
All right. All right.
And again, new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button up here.
This
Oh,
box.
thanks for the box, Chuck.
Oh, it was donated by Bel Air Sports Cards.
I
Come
think-
see them. You know where the roller rink, Bel Air old roller rink, in that building behind Seasons Pizza.
I might need a Seasons pizza after this. There's a chance.
8 cards in a pack.
It was a gift, Laura. It was. And I do enjoy it. All right, so how do you want to start off with this?
I'm gonna let you go first.
So you know Corey Seager was supposed to be my roommate in college at South Carolina. Then he got drafted first round.
I can see why.
The audacity of that man. I think it turned out pretty well for him.
I could see why. I think this is the newest pack
Newest
I've ever
edition?
opened. I'm old soul. You know what I mean? The old cards just takes me back, you know? And they're cheaper. They're way cheaper. Some of these cards are like, what?
All right, here we go. My first one.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
I got a school.
you know, I wanted him until I realized it didn't matter who we had pitching.
I
He
got
couldn't hit.
I got Colton. The beard's gone. That beard's gone there for sure.
That's like wow, that picture, facial features.
Blaze Alexander.
Ooh.
Garrett Cole.
What was that about?
Corbin Carroll. Oh, little Brian. Woo.
Garrett Cole, I'm not signing.
Nolan Jones played against him for a while. Good dude. I liked him a lot. Good guy. Masasaka Yoshida. And then back to the top. So you're saying there's a signed card and one of they said
Yes.
what did someone pull over there? Someone told me they pulled something over there.
All right. I got Jordan Lawler. That's Buster Posey.
Beast.
Definitely. Nolan Ryan. Rafael Devers. Another like stud. Like just goes to work.
Nick Moore's got questions or stories for him. The Baltimore Raven played with him in the minors.
Severna Park.
Merrill's a good player. Really good player.
When San Diego came, took the family, his family was there. What an awesome feeling. Can you imagine playing in the stadium? You grew up, I don't know,
Oh, hell yeah.
pretty awesome.
Hell yeah. It's very awesome.
And now we have what do they call these, refractors or something? I don't know. There's a Manny Machado.
That looks fancy.
It definitely looks better than the others.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm still trying to figure out what's good, what isn't.
Little Reggie Jackson. Well, we'll wait till the professionals tell us. Get out of there.
I'll take this one.
All right.
Good to see you. Thank you. Thank you. I got a Glaber or Randy. That's the other one I'm trying to get with Will Clark back on. He's got some stories in general. Oriole for a little bit of time. He's got a good amount of stories. Randy Johnson. Glaber, Pena. I got another Yoshida. Oh, there we go. He's a pretty good player.
Just mentioned him.
Bobby Wood Jr. I feel like I don't know what a power pact is, but I'll say it's a pretty cool looking card.
Definitely.
They're either
you can
numbered. I don't know if this is British Raven. I can't tell you, man. If it's I just don't even see numbers. We'll hold on to it though.
I've never opened up cards with someone who could be in the cards standing behind me.
And Laura, the Chris Berman interview just got put out. we put that other one out. We also have 3 other interviews that are coming your way that will put out to the public later. But our Holy Shirts and Pants members, we're going to have that in the future. And also, when we have some of our other high-profile guests, our Holy Shirts and Pants members, we're going to give you guys a chance to be a part of that conversation. Just because we were tight with Chris Berman's schedule, but next time we'll let you guys know in advance, let you guys be a part of the conversation as we're doing it. I think that'd be pretty fun.
Very cool.
What do you got?
I got Jack Leiter.
Oh,
Dad's a stud. I got a Riley Green.
he had a good second half of the season.
Yes, he
Very
did.
good. Very, very good.
This guy, Jordan Westberg.
Westy, man. Love that guy.
That's a special card.
Love that guy.
We got an Austin Martin. Sounds like a NASCAR driver, but he actually plays for Minnesota. Mike Stanton. I don't care what anybody says. It's Mike Stanton.
He's a beast.
John Carlo. This looks like a. See, it's got a little. See that?
Mm-hmm.
Little funk to it. Little chrome. Wyatt Langford.
Wyatt Langford, rookie for the Rangers out of Florida.
George Brett.
Hall of Famer, pretty good. I just want, you know what? That's the only thing I miss from the old days is like just, you know what? If you just want to fight on the field, it's okay. You know, you want to let it out and be fine. I think George Brett told a famous story about that, where him and Greg Nettles, I think, just fought at third base, but no one got ejected. You know,
That was understood.
it's understood.
They worked it out
for the love of
on
the game.
field. Like
right?
hockey. How is hockey still okay to fight? Like you think that they'd be like, no, you guys can't fight.
Yeah,
It is pretty cool to watch though. Those guys are beasts.
yeah. Laura, you want us to work on getting Will Clark? I can get that. I can do that.
I'm not saying nothing. Shohei.
Pretty good player, man. Some would say.
Definitely. What did it say? 146 days till his next at bat.
Yeah. The also a good lesson for sliding. I've seen that. So how he injured his shoulder jamming in on the slide. He had his hand down when he was sliding, and it's always a fluke thing. But I've actually seen like 3 or 4 situations where a guy's either dislocated his shoulder or tore his labrum from having his hand down. And I'm not fast enough, so it's not going to impact me. But a guy like Shohei,
Nico. Phenomenal cub. I like how they mix in the old and the new. Little Adrian
yeah.
Beltre. Don't
I-
touch his head. Don't touch his head.
Joe, I know if you're still in there. Heston Kerstad. Woo Pig Suey, man. Razorbacks. He I think I told you the story with Bo.
Nose.
Bo knows. I think I told you the story, Chuck, with Heston first time I met him. That we were coming out of COVID and we're in Bowie doing it at the alternate site. And we're hanging out there and Heston's workout, because he had the heart condition, his workout was walking around the outfield track. That was all he could do. But the thing that I loved is that Heston walked in, looked me in the eye. I know it's an old habit here, but he shook my hand, firm handshake, looked me in the eye. And like that, I'm like, this dude's got great manners. I love what he stands for. But he went up and introduced himself to everybody. And I'm like, dude, I hope he gets healthy, because I watched him in college. He was so damn good. And I thought he was going to have that type of year. And then he got hit in the head, and then I was kind of threw him off track. But man, that
He
dude
definitely
is,
has the body of just a guy that can just rip the ball.
dude, he's got some stupid pop. Stupid pop. It's so good. Such a good player, man. Such a good bat. So what do you got?
Kyle Tucker.
Also a very good player. Also very good player. There's a lot of good players, man. I like to say this. You get to the big leagues, you get in the pro ball, there's a lot of good players, man.
Little guy. Big player. Little guy.
Oh, yeah. These are final 2 for the
Final
night.
2.
Final 2 for the night. Right here. Final 2 for the night.
Why does this always happen? I'm just going to show you this. I just mentioned the guy. Clayton Kershaw. It's like
you were meant to open them,
the
man.
gods hear you.
I got Jackie Robinson. Little Jackie.
Great player.
A lot of he's
Kind of changed the game.
some
Yes.
would say. Oh, all right. I got a signed one here. Jackson Wolf.
That's the sick. Yeah.
We're in there.
I'd have been mad if I bought this pack. Got Jackson Wolf.
10 days after making his MLB debut for the Padres, he was swapped to the Pirates, who were content to let him marinate in Double-A the rest of the year.
And while he was waiting, he signed that card.
He signed that card, baby.
Jacob deGrom.
DeGrom.
These guys that like this core like of kind of 30-something pitchers, you know, where you remember them as just like hammers.
Oh yeah.
They're going to slowly kind of go away, and this younger group's going to come up. It's going to be fun to watch and see who kind of withstands the, you know, the test of time, so to speak.
Test time. Got a Johnny Bench. I like reminiscing on a lot of guys. I really do.
You ever see this guy play? Ty Cobb?
Did I ever see him play?
Yeah.
Chuck, I'm 31 years
I know.
old.
Yeah.
But have I seen highlights? Yes, I
Yeah.
have. You might have. You've been around for a while.
Not this
You've been
long.
around for a while.
I know. I not this long, but I've heard stories about this guy. Babe Ruth Museum,
Mm-hmm.
great place to learn about the old players.
Oh,
Shout
yeah.
out to the Babe Ruth Museum.
And do I have a card, Alan? Not in this one, but if you want some old Ryan Ripken cards from all the minor league days, hey, I got plenty to give away. And you want some hoodies because I used to be 245 when I played, and I am not that big anymore.
Now he's
Have
got-
some apparel to give away as well because I actually, if you guys really want a signed card, I can give you that. I got plenty of them. Also, a lot of broken bats because I didn't find the sweet spot enough, but I do have a lot of broken bats still trying to give out.
You
we
can
can do that.
bring them by the dealership.
You want me to do that?
And then whoever wants to come in and grab it, you just say like code word Ryan. and I'll
That's
know what
all
you
your
call it, yeah.
that's all your that is what you came up with?
Yeah. Well, it's your first name. I mean,
Chuck, we're gonna work on that. So
No.
that's very nice of you to say, just say Ryan, but why don't we,
buy a Jeep while you're there,
that too. That's great.
because there is like 0% now. And I know I should have talked a little bit more about Adams Jeep. Great place to work, great place to do business. All we do is Jeeps. We lift them. The customization.
But
that
you
we
don't
do
but you
is
don't
great.
customize just Jeeps though.
No.
That's the thing.
No.
You can customize all vehicles. You customize a lot of Jeeps because it is a Jeep dealership, but
Correct.
it's not just Jeeps that you can get there.
Correct.
So, I don't, maybe code word Ryan's Wood. I don't know if that's going to be it. I don't know if
That
we're
would
going to go
pique
with
my
that.
interest. I would definitely answer.
Of course, it would pique Chuck's interest if you guys get my drift, pun intended.
As long as it's not Ryan's Broken Wood. With the bat,
The bat.
Yeah.
With the bat, for sure.
I know you're coming in for a bat if you're asking.
Oh, goodness. See, you're getting some responses here. That's the winner. Yeah, and Rick's been in there to Adams Jeep quite a bit. You put a sunroof on my Grand Cherokee. I'm right down the street.
See behind me, I think the McCann boys are putting stuff in their pockets.
Yeah.
See him, look at him. Busted.
Secret safe with us. All right. I think we're good for today, but we got still all these to open in the future. So Chuck, this is that simple. You just call me up and say, let's do this. And then
One last question. One last question.
What do you got?
Let's
You wanna
leave it up
ask?
to them.
You want me to ask?
Everybody stuck it out.
Let's see. I'm going back.
I
and
already
seeing
answered. James McCann smells great.
Yeah. Was that a question, or that just you wanted to make that
I
statement?
just wanted to reiterate that.
Yeah.
Looks good. Smells great.
Chuck,
Plays even better.
number one fan of the James McCann fan club.
Yeah. Clutch.
Let me see. I know there's some other baseball ones I just absolutely missed. God. And it happens when things get a little bit off.
Here's a question. I have a question.
Go ahead. And we
Do you
can close
think
it out.
this core group of guys, without any additions, is enough to overcome the wild card, the first round, and really bring home a World Series?
I think you got the core exactly to do what you want, and when they're healthy, you got guys that can be at the top of their game. Like Kyle Bradish, when he's healthy, is as a Cy Young candidate. Grayson Rodriguez has a lot of ability to be a top end guy. Gunnar Henderson is an MVP type player. Adley Rutschman, I believe, is one of the top hitting catchers in the game. Jordan Westberg is everything. The answer is yes, but the thing is that you got to get over the mental side of is once you see that first victory in the postseason, then things grow.
Yeah.
I think that's the part getting over. But do I think this team's going to be successful for a very long time? I do. There's no doubt about that in my mind. Now it's just going to be when you get there, can you just get the ball rolling in your favor, string together some wins, maybe have a little luck involved, and go on a run that can bring a championship back to Baltimore. Hopefully it will be another one that the city has waited decades now. So,
and I can honestly say Brandon Hyde, when he was, doing that final press conference, he said, that I see what I could have done, and everybody, there was accountability there, and it was awesome to see. And now I'm just excited to get the opening day and watch his team, go even farther.
Baseball's hard, man. I tell people all the time, baseball's hard. You think you got to figure it out. Guess what? You don't. And even when you're one of the best in the world, and that's why it always gets me. When people struggle in the big leagues, these are the best of the best. So when people go, oh, they stink, it's like, no, they don't. It's just this league is hard.
Yeah.
And then you're dealing with the mental side of it, and then you're trying to battle through all the injuries of a 162. And you just got to hope then that's the value. When you have veterans on the team and things mesh. Like on paper, the New York Mets shouldn't have been a team that went as far as they did. But they played well, and that was the end of that. So you just got to hope that things click the right way. And you get in. If you get in, Chuck, you got a chance. That is the goal.
That's all you got to do.
Get to the postseason and see what happens. That's the beauty of it. But until then, relax, enjoy the offseason. I'll come back. We'll talk about whatever else. And Chuck, we're going to open up cards. You're going to tell me where we can find people with Adames Jeep Apparel in the future.
Yes.
We have the website that's already up in the chat. So everyone, I appreciate you. And Rick, that's it. Just get hot to get hot. And next time we can do some call-ins so you guys can make fun of Chuck in the process. Cool?
I love it.
Well, hey guys, we appreciate you. Open up some cards. Love Adames Jeep Maryland. Been with us from the start. Have a lot planned for the future and a lot of great guests. So hit that like and subscribe button on the way out. We'll talk to you guys soon.
See you.
Chuck, what a debut for you, man. Look
Thanks.
at you. Look at you.
Appreciate